expanse of the Cytherean cluster, where 7 suns battled for dominance in an eternal cosmic dance, the Grakklar hunting festival had begun its 493rd cycle. The event, revered across 17 star systems, drew the elite hunters of the galaxy, scaled, tentacled, crystalline, and gaseous beings alike, all converging on the manufactured hunting grounds of Nexus 9. Nexus 9 was a masterpiece of bioengineered terrain, a planet-sized arena with 12 distinct biomes, from crystal deserts to methane swamps, all designed with one purpose: to provide the ultimate hunting challenge for the galaxy's apex predators. The Grakklars, the festival's creators and hosts, had spent millennia perfecting their craft of hunting. Their exoskeletons gleamed purple and gold under the artificial atmosphere, their compound eyes capable of tracking quantum fluctuations in their prey's movement patterns. Commander Grakklar adjusted his ceremonial hunting carapace, the 18 medals of previous victories clicking against his thoracic plates. As Supreme Hunt Master, he had overseen the capture of this cycle's prey specimens, 37 humans from the backwater planet Earth, recently discovered at the edge of the Forbidden Zone. The newest specimens have been processed, Supreme Hunt Master reported Subcommander Zex, her mandibles clicking in proper deference. Though I must note, the behavioral analysis indicates anomalies in specimen H17. Grakklar's antenna twitched with annoyance. Anomalies are irrelevant. Humans have proven to be the most entertaining prey in 7 generations. Their curious blend of intelligence and absolute foolishness makes for exceptional sport. Of course, Supreme Hunt Master. The release ceremony begins in 3 chronals. As tradition dictated, the human specimens were kept in separate holding chambers, transparent hexagonal cells suspended above the grand arena where 10,000 spectators chittered and buzzed in anticipation. The cells were designed to study each specimen before the hunt, allowing betting syndicates to assess odds and hunters to select their targets. In cell H17, a human male lounged on the provided sleep platform, one leg crossed over the other, whistling a tune that the Grakklar translation matrix identified as Another One Bites the Dust. Unlike the other humans who paced, wept, or raged against their captivity, this one appeared entirely unconcerned. The specimens file identified him as Jake Miller, captured while backpacking through Southeast Asia on Earth. The biodata indicated he was 34 Earth years old, possessed no remarkable physical attributes, and had spent much of his pre-capture life in what humans called odd jobs. A confusing designation that the Grakklar cultural database suggested meant occupational instability. What the file didn't mention was that Jake Miller had spent 4 years in Earth's Special Forces before being sent, some kind of nutrient-rich purple paste that tasted vaguely like blueberry yogurt. The toilet facilities were perplexing but functional. All in all, not terrible accommodations for someone who'd been abducted by aliens. A shimmering field appeared at one end of his cell, and a holographic projection of Commander calculated at 0%. Jake nodded thoughtfully. So you're saying I'd be the first? I like those odds. The Supreme Hunt Master's compound eyes begins. The specimen will behave like all the others. As you say, Supreme Hunt Master, Zex replied, though her ocular receptors remained fixed on the strange human who had now begun to do what appeared to be casual stretching exercises. The release ceremony commenced with traditional fanfare. The hunting arena's atmospheric control created a swirling vortex of colored gases above the spectator rings. The 37 human specimens were transported in their cells to various entry points around the arena's perimeter. The ceremony was broadcast across the 17 star systems, with particular focus on the defending champion, Hunter Krovzik, whose record of 93 human kills remained unbroken. Jake's cell descended into a dense jungle biome. The transparent walls retracted with a pneumatic hiss, and a mechanized voice announced, Human Specimen H17. Your survival period begins now. Your hunting assignment is across his thoracic plates. Contact Hunter Krovzik. Tell him to proceed with caution. This specimen may be employing unknown tactics. Jake finished his inventory and stood up. Instead of heading deeper into the jungle, he walked back to where his cell had been and studied the ground carefully. Finding what he was looking for, a small circular indentation, he knelt and pressed his palm against it. A maintenance hatch designed for the arena's service drones slid open. Supreme Huntmaster. Zex's voice rose an octave. The human has accessed a maintenance tunnel. Rextic's mandibles clacked furiously. Impossible. How could it know? Seal all maintenance access points immediately. But Jake had already slipped into the tunnel, pulling the hatch closed behind him. The narrow passage was illuminated by bioluminescent strips designed for the arena's mechanical servitors. Jake moved quickly, his compact human frame navigating the tunnels with ease. I've studied the maintenance schematics, Jake muttered to himself. If I'm right, these tunnels should form a network under the entire arena. What Jake couldn't know was that his words were being picked up by hidden microphones throughout the maintenance system, a security feature that was now broadcasting his strange behavior to increasingly confused Grakklar observers. Supreme Huntmaster, Zex reported, the human claims to have studied our maintenance schematics. This is impossible. No human has ever accessed such information. Rextic's compound eyes narrowed to pinpoints. Run a database check on specimen H-17. Compare facial recognition with all known human contacts with off-world species. As Jake navigated the tunnel network, he came across a junction with a control panel. Without hesitation, he pressed his palm against it and said clearly, "Maintenance override, Protocol 793." To the astonishment of the Grakklar observers, the control panel lit up with access permissions. How is this possible? Rextic demanded, his exoskeleton now a deep purple with rage. No human should know our maintenance protocols. Zex's analysis completed with a chime. Supreme Huntmaster, facial recognition confirms match with human designation, Jacob Miller. Security clearance, Beta 9. Previous contact with Cytherian diplomatic envoy 3 Earth years ago. Classification, support personnel. Rextic's rage turned to cold calculation. He was part of the Earth delegation's security detail. When we studied humans for the hunt, his mandibles clicked in what might have been admiration. This one is not ordinary prey. Alert all hunters. Priority target is now specimen H-17. In the tunnels, Jake had access to schematic of the arena. He studied it briefly before continuing through the network, occasionally stopping to adjust controls or remove small components from junction boxes. Each action was performed with the confidence of someone who knew exactly what he was doing. The thing about Gracklars, Jake muttered to himself, unaware of the microphones, is they're so obsessed with protocol they never think about who might be listening when they discuss their security systems. Stand next to any Grakklar engineer for 5 minutes, and you'll learn enough to hack their entire infrastructure. Above ground, chaos had begun to unfold. The atmospheric controls in 3 biomes malfunctioned simultaneously, causing a snowstorm in the desert sector, a heat wave in the ice fields, and a torrential downpour in the gravity-reduced crystal forest. The hunters, prepared for specific environmental conditions, found themselves at a sudden disadvantage. Hunter Krovzik, tracking what he believed was Jake's trail, emerged from the jungle into what should have been a savanna, only to find himself knee-deep in rapidly rising water. Control center, he barked into his communication device. The arena is malfunctioning. My prey has vanished. Rextic's voice came back, tense and controlled. All hunters, specimen H-17 is interfering with arena systems. This human has prior knowledge of our technology. Exercise extreme caution and switch to adaptive hunting protocols. Jake, meanwhile, had found what he was looking for, a central hub where multiple maintenance tunnels converged. The room was filled with control panels and diagnostic equipment, clearly designed for the arena's engineering drones. Jackpot, he whispered, cracking his knuckles before setting to work. Within minutes, he had bypassed the security protocols and gained access to the arena's central control systems. The Grakklars, watching in horror from the monitoring station, could only observe as Jake systematically took control of their most prestigious hunting ground. "Lock him out," Rextic ordered. "Impossible," Supreme Hunt Master Zex replied. "He's implemented a cascading encryption protocol. Our systems recognize his commands as priority overrides." Jake's fingers flew over the alien interfaces with surprising dexterity. "Let's see. Environmental controls, check. Security systems, check. Oh, and what's this? Containment protocols for the other humans? Let's just deactivate those." Throughout the arena, the remaining human specimens found their tracking collars deactivating with a soft click. Many were too frightened or confused to understand what was happening, but a few realized they had been granted an unexpected reprieve. Jake wasn't finished. He accessed the communication system, and his voice echoed throughout the arena, transmitted in both human language and Grakklar clicks. "Attention all hunters and, hunts. This is Jake Miller, apparently your new arena administrator. There's been a slight change to today's entertainment program. Instead of humans being hunted, we're going to try something new. It's a game I like to call Find the Exit Before the Arena Self-Destructs. Don't worry, I've helpfully marked all emergency exits with flashing red lights. You have 30 minutes. May the odds be ever in your favor." In the control center, Rextic's exoskeleton had turned almost black with fury. "He's bluffing. The arena has no self-destruct sequence." Zex's analysis flashed warning signals. "Supreme Hunt Master, he's not activating a self-destruct. He's overloading the environmental systems to create a cascading failure in the atmospheric containment field. The effect would be similar. The arena, designed to maintain distinct biomes in careful balance, began to show signs of strain. Barriers between environments started to collapse, creating dangerous interactions, water rushing into electrical zones, methane mixing with oxygen-rich atmospheres, gravity fluctuations causing structural instabilities. Panic spread through the spectator rings as the prestigious event devolved into chaos. Hunters abandoned their prey to rush for the emergency exits. Administrative staff attempted to regain control, but found themselves locked out of their own systems. Jake, still in the maintenance hub, watched the confusion on the monitoring screens with satisfaction. He located the holding area where the captured humans were kept before being processed for the hunt and remotely opened the doors. "This is a jailbreak, folks," he announced over the intercom to the confused humans. "Follow the blue lights to the emergency shuttles. I've pre-programmed the coordinates for Earth. Bon voyage." In the main control center, Rextic had reached a decision. Activate the emergency override. Shut down all systems. But Supreme Hunt Master, Zex protested, that will strand everyone in the arena, including our own people. Better stranded than humiliated by a prey species. Rextic's mandibles clacked with finality as he inserted his command key into the override console. The lights throughout the arena flickered, then stabilized. The environmental chaos continued unabated. Override rejected, the system announced in pleasant Grakklar clicks. Administrator authorization required. On the screen, Jake's face appeared, grinning. "Looking for this?" He held up what appeared to be the master control crystal. "I removed it about 20 minutes ago. You guys really should secure your critical infrastructure better." Rextic's compound eyes narrowed to furious slits. "How did you access the control center?" "It's protected by triple redundant security protocols." Jake shrugged. "You know those basic survival tools you gave me? Turns out the metal in that cutting tool has the same resonance frequency as your security scanners. A little bend here, a little tap there, and, well, you practically gave me the keys to the kingdom." The Supreme Hunt Master's rage was now tinged with something new, respect. "What do you want, human? Name your terms." Jake leaned back in the control chair, spinning it casually. "It's pretty simple, actually. 1. You're going to release all humans and return them to Earth. 2. You're going to classify Earth and all humans as protected species, no more hunting us for sport. 3. You're going to compensate each human you've captured with, let's say, 10 kilograms of whatever precious metals you Grakklars value most. Outrageous, Rextic sputtered. The economic impact would be 4. Jake continued, holding up another finger. You're going to dismantle this entire hunting operation and convert it into something less murdery. I don't know, maybe an interstellar petting zoo? Or a theme park. Humans love theme parks. Zex approached Rextic cautiously. Supreme Hunt Master, arena stability is at 17% and falling. We have 10,000 spectators and 200 elite hunters still inside. The political consequences of such losses would be severe. Rextic's antennae drooped in defeat. Very well, human. Your terms are accepted under duress. Restore the arena systems, and we will implement your demands. Jake's grin widened. I thought you might see it my way. I'm transmitting a treaty document to your system now. Sign it, broadcast it across all 17 star systems, and I'll start the stabilization sequence. Within hours, the Grakklar Hunting Festival had been officially disbanded. Its centuries of tradition ended by a single human with an unusual background and a talent for improvisation. The captured humans were gathered and prepared for transport back to Earth, most still bewildered by their brief, terrifying glimpse of interstellar society. Jake stood at the shuttle bay, watching as his fellow humans boarded the transport vessels. Commander Rextic approached, his posture formal, but his compound eyes revealing a complex mix of emotions. You have destroyed a cultural institution that defined the Grakklar people for millennia, Rextic stated, mandibles clicking softly. Jake shrugged. A cultural institution based on murdering sentient beings for fun? Yeah, I'm not losing sleep over that one. What I do not understand, Rextic continued, is why you allowed yourself to be captured. Our records show you were aware of our existence. You could have avoided the collection teams. Jake's casual demeanor shifted slightly, revealing a glimpse of steel beneath. I spent years listening to Grakklar diplomats brag about their hunting prowess while serving them drinks at Earth's secret interspecies embassy. They never noticed the service human absorbing every detail. When I heard about the hunts, about how many of my people had died for your entertainment, I decided someone needed to do something. So you deliberately placed yourself in our path. I've always been a hands-on problem solver. Jake smiled, but it didn't reach his eyes. Consider this a diplomatic wake-up call. Earth might seem primitive to you, but we're full of surprises. Next time you want to hunt something for sport, try one of those digital simulations. I hear they're very realistic these days. Rextic's mandibles clicked in what might have been amusement. The Grakklar High Council is already discussing a replacement event. Something called a sports tournament. Competitive, but without the mortality. Now you're getting it. Jake extended his hand. After a moment's hesitation, Rextic extended a segmented limb, and they engaged in what must have been the first human Grakklar handshake in history. As Jake boarded the shuttle that would take him and the other humans home, Rextic called out one last question. Human Jake Miller. In your culture, what title is given to one who transforms an entire civilization's fundamental practices? Jake thought for a moment, then grinned over his shoulder. Usually we call them troublemakers, but occasionally we call them visionaries. Your choice which one I am. The shuttle doors closed, and Jake settled into his seat, already planning how he would explain to Earth's secret interspecies diplomatic corps why they would soon be receiving a formal apology and a substantial shipment of precious metals from a previously hostile alien civilization. In the decades that followed, the Cytherian cluster underwent a cultural renaissance. The infamous hunting grounds of Nexus 9 were transformed into the Galactic Cultural Exchange Center, where species from across the known universe could meet in peace to share art, technology, and ideas. The former arena's adaptable biomes proved perfect for accommodating visitors from wildly different home environments. And every year, on the anniversary of what became known as the Miller Incident, a small delegation of humans would visit the exchange center as honored guests. They would invariably be greeted by aging Grakklars who would click their mandibles in what had become a gesture of respect rather than aggression. The story of the human who fought back became legend, a cautionary tale about underestimating supposedly inferior species, and a reminder that true civilization isn't measured by technological advancement, but by how it treats those with less power. As for Jake Miller, he declined all offers of diplomatic positions, interstellar fame, or lucrative book deals. Instead, he returned to his odd jobs, though now with a particular focus on wildlife conservation and anti-poaching efforts. When asked why he chose such work after his interstellar adventure, he would simply shrug and say, "Let's just say I've developed a strong opinion about hunting for sport." And if he occasionally glanced up at the night sky with a knowing smile, well, that was his secret to keep.